Modern day witch hunt project. Slavery in America. Ever since the beginning of slavery in America, the slaves wanted to break free and be safe. Most slaves were illiterate and had no money and very few, if any, possessions. Most slaves tried running at night because they were most likely to be found by the hunters and bloodhounds during the day. Many runaways had long distances to travel on foot before they were able to reach safety in a free state or in Canada. Most of those who were returned to their owners were severely punished in an effort to deter others from attempting to leave. Despite the dangers, however, many runaways managed to find their way north into states that had outlawed slavery. The Compromise of 1850. When America was trying to add new states to our country, there was a lot of controversy over whether the state would be free or slave. After the Mexican-American War, we had made the Compromise of 1850 to settle the disagreements. This included 5 parts. It allowed California to enter as a free state, divided the Mexican cession into New Mexico and Utah, ended slave trade in Washington, D.C., included a strict Fugitive Slave Act, settled a border dispute between Texas and New Mexico. The Fugitive Slave Act was a law passed that provided Southern slaveholders with legal weapons to capture slaves who had escaped to free states. The law was highly unpopular in the North and helped to convert many previously indifferent Northerners to anti-slavery. This act allowed heavy fines to be placed on anyone who interfered with the slave owner in the process of recapturing fugitive slaves and forced law enforcement officials to aid in the recapture of runaways. The result was that distant Canada became the only truly safe destination for fugitive slaves. Slave capturing. A great deal of capturers would take these free black men and women and return them to plantations, even if the farm owner wasn't ever the slave's real owner in the past. This was extremely unfair, and the slaves had no way to prove if they were truthfully free or not. This made it exceptionally easy for the capturers to bring any black man or woman to a plantation, even if they were in a free land. The Fugitive Slave Act was extremely strict and gave the slaves little to no chance of becoming free, although if a slave were to make it to become free, they would be treated unfairly with discrimination and racism. The witch hunt. The capture and return of supposed runaway slaves who were actually free black men and women is considered a witch hunt. A witch hunt is the mistreatment of a group of people for their beliefs or actions that are unpopular and, in the tormentor's eyes, dangerous to society. The slaves were being mistreated in general, and when they would become free, the tormentor would return them back to a farm even though they were free. They also found the runaway slaves to be extremely dangerous to society, and they were scared it would make other slaves want to run away. The Crucible. The Crucible is a play about the Salem witch trials of 1692. Arthur Miller describes the terrible accusations and treatment of people who went through this in a small town over something not true. There is usually no real evidence to prove the reality of these accused witches. In this story, the Reverend sees some girls dancing in the woods naked and claiming to have been bewitched. One of the girls is married, and her husband is having an affair with a lady who had high authority in the town and accused his wife of being a witch. This play displays the small town drama and the reality of the Salem witch trials very well. Comparison. The Crucible and the capturing of free slaves would both be considered witch hunts. In the Crucible, the town uses false evidence that doesn't actually prove the people to be a witch or not, which led to several lives taken because of false allegations. The capturing of free slaves is considered a witch hunt because the slaves would run away and be brought into a free state or considered them as free, but the slave hunters would find them and bring them back to their plantations because they had no real evidence of them being free. A witch hunt is when someone is being sought after and treated unfairly because of their beliefs or actions as being seen as unfair. In conclusion, The plot of the play and the capture and return of free slaves are both considered witch hunts. The Crucible contains people in Salem who were falsely accused of being witches and sentenced to death or jail. The whole town was out to get the people accused of being a witch and treated them unfairly, even though they did nothing wrong. The slaves being captured and returned to plantations as free men and women is also considered a witch hunt. This is considered a witch hunt because all of the slave capturers, townspeople, and even the Northerners treated the colored people unfairly because of their actions.